elected prime minister all the way back when I was in elementary school, and of course has held on.
Did they spell Netanyahu or did I? No. They misspelled Netanyahu right here, which means it wasn't, you know, written by ChatGPT at least.
Power in some form or fashion to now, when I'm long past elementary school. Look at this. Chance Netanyahu is Israel's prime minister after the 2026 election. Look, 50 days ago it was about an even split, 51%. But down it goes, down it goes. Now we're just talking about a 1 in 3 possibility, 33% chance that Netanyahu is still the prime minister after the next elections. So Netanyahu's chances have been going down, down, down into the Red Sea as we're looking at this compared to 50 days ago.
Now, part of the issue isn't, as it is maybe for President Trump, that he's fighting the war on Iran at all. It's that he's not maybe doing it more.
A thing to be appropriate. Take it here. Take a look here. UFC White House fights are appropriate. Just 16% overall. And among Republicans, even among Republicans, you know that.
That's actually surprising to me that only 31% of Republicans think it's fine for America's 250th anniversary to be celebrated by a fucking UFC octagon being built on the White House lawn.
Diehard base Republican Party with Trump through thick and thin. Just 31% of Republicans. His approval rating amongst Republicans overall, as you know, usually hovers a little bit north of 80%. So we're talking 50 points lower here. And you know, this overall, you know, being 16%, you know, what is it, like 28% of Americans, you know, believe in telepathy. So this is even below that.
Does this fall into a broader pattern with the White House of voters' minds?
Yeah, I think this is the big problem here, Omar, which is, you know...
Anyone else feel like Harry Enton might be getting a little bit too big for his boots? I don't know. The way he's been, the Trashy sponsorship, the way he's been carrying himself, the way he's been getting, like, Harry Enton-specific segments on CNN...
Americans just don't think that Donald Trump and
Who's the guy that we like, Kornacki? This is why we're Kornacki stands, because he stays humble. He's let the Trashy sponsorship money get to his head. Meanwhile, Kornacki's just over there with his Jamie, just like working on the live stream, got his sleeves rolled up.
White House is in touch with them because, you know, they put on stuff like that that Americans don't really care about. Take a look here. Say the White House is out of touch with people like you. 60% overall. We're talking about 3 in 5 Americans. And look among independents. 80% of independents say that the White House is out of touch with people like them. So all of a sudden you have a...
The Coke ad, yeah, the Coke ad was insane.
White House that is potentially putting on events such as this UFC fights. And, you know, Americans' top issue is inflation. And what's Trump's net approval rating on that? Like minus 50? And you go to yourself, okay, appropriate, no on the UFC fights. And then you put it together with what they actually care about. No wonder that the American people say 60% say the White House is out of touch with people like them and 80% of independents.
I mean, it's a big push. Why do you think Trump loves the UFC so much?
Yeah, okay. You know, we've seen Donald Trump go to these UFC fights before, right? We see that there may be UFC fights, you know.
He's also getting too big for that suit, I think. I just can't believe how much the suit, like, hip maxes for him. You know what I mean? Every time I bring this up, somebody in chat's like, what if you're a man who identifies as a man and you want to look like a man and you wear suits made for men, but you actually want to look like you have really big hips? To which my answer is, like, you're probably not Harry Enton, you know? That's why tailoring's really important.
Trump go to these UFC fights before, right? We see that there may be UFC fights, you know, on the White House lawn come this weekend. And, you know, it's because the UFC and MMA is a safe space. It is a safe space. It's a nice place. It's warm and lovely for the President of the United States.
I do appreciate his contempt for the White House, though.
The league among fans of MMA. Look at this. Republicans hold the lead among MMA fans. Look at that, plus 14. Versus soccer, if he goes to the World Cup, I don't think that's going to be friendly.
I will never understand how MMA and UFC took over boxing. Boxing is such a beautiful sport with so much history. Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, etc., etc. Beautiful fights. Well, maybe beautiful is an overstatement. It's not like jiu-jitsu or whatever. And like MMA, UFC fights are just disgusting, sweaty, like grapple, ball punching. I'm sorry, every fight I've ever seen in the octagon is just like lame as hell. I get that it's a more complete fighting style than boxing because boxing doesn't, you know, have kicks and so on. But boxing is like a sport. MMA and UFC barely feels like a sport to me. It just feels like sweaty entertainment. It just feels like entertainment to me, I guess. I know they're good fighters. I'm not arguing that they're not good fighters. I'm just saying I feel like boxing is much like better to watch. And, you know, I don't know. I don't get it. I think that people just find it more entertaining that there are no rules, which is just such a low IQ. I don't know. But there are rules? Yeah, I mean, fewer rules than boxing. below the belt hits, kicking, whatever else. A problem is that boxing fights now are only made for money. I mean, it's always been like that, right? It's always been a common criticism of like, you know, combat sports, which is just like they're a very cynical cash grab where a bunch of wealthy white people in the stands watch two black men duke it out. You know, it's like that Soviet cartoon. It's because too many boxing fights end in decision. Okay, it doesn't have to be boxing. Like, I would rather watch any martial art than MMA. I would rather watch kickboxing, karate, kung fu, jiu-jitsu, sumo. Like, I struggle to imagine a combat sport that I would prefer, or that I wouldn't prefer over watching MMA fights. I am just so unimpressed every time I watch them. They are so uninteresting. Kendo? Oh my God. Kendo? Absolutely. Get me a goddamn White House kendo match. Even fencing? My argument is that fencing has been made infinitely more entertaining to watch now that modern cameras and modern tech or whatever means you can trace the point of the sword. Like before, it's just like you see a blur and then somebody gets hit and a point gets scored. You hear the buzz. But now you can see a little glowing dot at the tip, and that's a lot more interesting. Way more interesting. Doesn't MMA mean mixed martial arts? What's the difference between them? Genuinely, there's nothing I can do to describe it other than just saying, like, watch it. Go on YouTube and watch like an MMA match, and then watch like a boxing match or a jiu-jitsu match or whatever. You can see immediately the difference. In MMA, it's just a sweaty grapple fest. I wonder if there's room for that, Tempest.
Territory for the president. Look at that. Democrats hold the party ID lead there of +12. And we know that Donald Trump was booed at the Garden. Look at that. Democrats hold a 28-point lead on fans of the NBA.
So Marco Rubio compared the founding of the UFC to landing on the moon.
Yes, he did.
However you feel about that.
Yes.
How are the prediction markets viewing his chances as sort of emerging from the 2028 pack?
Yeah, one of the most bizarre comparisons I've ever heard. Chance to be the 2028 GOP president.
It is so fucking funny that Rubio has genuinely not even made any moves at the presidency, but people still generally prefer him over Vance, even though Vance is the fucking VP, because Vance is just that ugly and uncharismatic. Like, Rubio, just by virtue of being less uncharismatic and less ugly, is like, they're like, yeah, he's more based or whatever.
Nominee. Look at this. Rubio, Vance, neck and neck. And I think part of Rubio appealing in 2028 will be appealing to those young fans, appealing to those MMA fans.
Well, that's just MMA getting homogenized into an optimum that's boring. No. That's exactly my point. Like, these are sports. It's not real fighting. If it was real fighting, then the best move would be the same that is the best move in real life, which is to scream and charge the person as hard as you can, and then when their head hits the mat, you just pummel their face as hard as you can. That's the optimal. The optimal move is to bring a gun. Like, it's not real fighting. It's a sport, and sports are best when they have rules, because rules define the mode of engagement. You want to build rules that produce interesting outcomes, you know? It wouldn't be like, again, like, no combat sport would be fun if each guy could just bring a gun. Then it would just be dueling. And then it would be like, well, why even have the rule that the duel begins when the bell goes off? Can't the duel begin beforehand? And then every duelist is just assassinating each other before the fight even starts, and they can't get a camera on it. So it's like, damn, we've optimized the sport. In the sport of getting guys to shoot each other, we've optimized it to the point where now it's not even happening on television. I assume you don't like professional wrestling? Well, professional wrestling isn't like, I mean, it is a combat sport. You still have to be very athletic. It's just different. It's, you know, more of a show. It's a combat performance, yeah. It is real fighting, just like what you'd see in public, like more kicking beforehand. It's just like, in real life, fights are won largely by the first guy to drop the other guy to the ground. And usually the person who does a sneak attack wins. You can be a professional martial artist, but if a guy gets behind you with like a glass bottle, you're probably going to lose like 9 times out of 10. Because it doesn't matter how skilled you are, like, you just got hit in the back of the head with a glass bottle. Like, that's just gonna, you're still made of meat, man, you know? The rules are what makes it engaging, which is why, like, judo can be a lot of fun to watch, because it's like, oh man, they're not doing anything, and then one of them grabs the other guy's jacket, and then you see a 250-pound man get flipped over the other guy's head, and it's like, oh, that's cool. That doesn't seem like it should be able to happen. Like, would sumo be more interesting if they were like, actually, you can touch your hands to the mat? So like, this is actually mixed martial arts sumo. So you can touch your hands to the mat and like roll around and stuff now. Now, the only goal is to just get each other out of the ring. So now everything just turns into like a stupid, like rolling around grapple fest where you're like pathetically trying to slap the other guy onto the, like, it's, the rules make it fun. Fuck it, make a big ramp to roll them down so they gain momentum. Okay, hold on. You might have something to that.